Yeah.
Yes, sir, it's
Good
live
morning.
now.
Yeah. Good morning. Welcome to the National Level Faculty Development Program on Financial Statement and Economy under COVID amidst COVID-19 pandemic, organized by Jain College Autonomous in collaboration with Indian Accounting Association Thane. I welcome the keynote speaker, CA Nihar Jambusaria, Vice President ICI, and Speaker CA Sanju Kumar Singhal, Central Council Member ICI. Chairman of Indian Accounting Association, Dr. Arvind Lohar, Secretary, Dr. Nishikant Jha, Treasurer, Dr. Kuldeep Sharma, Jain College Principal, Dr. Ashok Wadia, Head of the Department, Jain College, Professor Wilson Rao, and all the esteemed participants. Financial statements have always been very dynamic. Changes in laws, accounting standards, tradition, global situation, domestic situation, etc. warrant the changes in financial statements. Economy always also has been a major factor. The ongoing deadly pandemic, which has arisen 100 plus years, and the consequent lockdown is bound to have its own impact. The unprecedented loss to the economy will definitely warrant some shift from the normal practice. Recognition of income, valuation of assets, treatment of bad debts, which are called as NPA in banking, assessment of loss, etc., may also need special attention. To deliberate on this, we have organized this FDP, and principals are always accepted our idea and supported it. And we are all very fortunate to have such stalwarts, the ultimate authorities to guide us. I request Dr. Ashok Wadia, the principal of Jain College, to kindly deliver the principal's address. Thank you.
Thank you, Ghak sir. I think the IT department and accounts department is doing the wonderful thing for bringing all the renowned people on this particular platform with the help of Indian Accounting Association. I think that Thane branch has collaborated and Lohar sir has given such kind of platform. We are thankful. But today is a special day. I consider, uh, very important in the with respect to the kind of talk which is going to be there. So I really welcome all our renowned, eminent personalities in the field of finance coming over here, particularly the kind of positions they are having. I'm not, taking the actually the kind of limelight from our Wilson Rao sir by introducing you. That is, Wilson sir will do. But just now, what Ghak sir mentioned, and considering this particular pandemic situation, the worry is increasing day by day. Though we are saying, and it is mentioned that 15 lakhs people have started working, workers have started going to the factories and things like that way, and somehow economy will come on the on its track. I hope so. That will be fast. But looking at the situation, the other day I was asked by the press, what is the situation of the placement of your students? Is it they are ready to defer? Is it that they are taking away that offer which has been given to the students? And or you'll find that they are telling them to just join without any kind of payment till 6 months and so on. So this kind of, so I asked, from where did you get it? And so the press reporter mentioned to me that is they already spoken to various colleges and particularly the business schools. And that's puts a worry. I checked with our students. So far, none of them, luckily, they have received any kind of cancellation of the offer. But at the same time, many of the companies are also not talking about it at this stage. Maybe they are actually looking at the situation and they may take a call. So it's not just that the finance sector is affected by this, but I think common man is getting affected by this. And when Ghak sir mentioned about suddenly the picture becomes very bleak. And when such kind of thing, the picture becomes bleak, I think in the dark clouds, we always want a silver lining and some kind of a sunshine. And I think today's speaker will throw more light on this particular issue. and make everyone, because I don't think this is only the faculty development program. I don't believe that, because today this particular program, because I've tried to spread this particular program not only to the commerce faculty but to people who are not actually from the commerce background, because I thought that this will help people to understand, and maybe they will be able to take the steps accordingly. So I, without taking much further time, I will request Wilson sir to formally introduce this our eminent speakers, and they will be able to guide us on these particular issues. And as faculty, student, as well as I think the layman is looking forward to your input, sir. So thank you very much for accepting our invitation, coming on this kind of platform that is also on the Saturday morning. Though the nowadays weekends are not there existing, but we are very glad, and thank you again on this virtual background. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wadia sir. Before I begin, Wilson sir, I think Nihar sir is not on the panel. So can you please contact him to be on the panel? Ask him to rejoin the link. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in the meanwhile, thank you, Wadia sir. Now I request Dr. Nishikant Jha sir to introduce the Indian Accountancy Association Thane. Before he actually does it, I'll just in a short I'll introduce him. Dr. Nishikant Jha sir is the secretary of Indian Accounting Association Thane, which is our collaboration partner, and we have already done, this is I think fourth webinar of FDP in a row, and we'll be doing many more. And he's also the HOD of BAF of Thakur College. He is the member of Board of Studies of University for two different boards, like one is the BAF itself and the other is financial marketing or financial markets. He is also the research guide and for PhD and MPhil, and he's the author of many books. In fact, I've been seeing his book for last 10+ years. So hearty compliment to you, and now I request to please introduce the Thane chapter of Indian Accounting Association. And in fact, I will be very happy that our Sanjeev sir, the speaker, Dr. C.S. Sanjeev sir, is the president of Delhi NCR. So you will be happy to find him here. So I request Nishikant Jha sir to kindly introduce Thane chapter of Indian Accounting Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Ghag sir, for a very effective introduction of our branch. And we believe you are a family member, being the life member of IIA Thane branch. All the panelists, respective panelists, to be very precise and particular, Dr. Ashok Wadia sir, Nihar sir, who were there with us in DTSS college also. And we, on their support, and Wilson sir, this is fourth in row, Santosh sir, with your support. Sir, day before yesterday only we got a mail from YouTube that our YouTube channel has been viewed more than lakhs of viewers within 20 days.
Congratulations.
And this would have been possible, and a big role goes to all the eminent speaker like Sanjeev sir and CA Institute, because sir, with CA Institute we have done not less than 10+ event, and each event has been viewed. Like sir is witness, Ashok sir is witness, Wilson sir is witness. I have sent them the screenshot that in Dhara Mad session also has been viewed more than 7,500.
Yes.
So it's not only now, sir, even after the event, our student, our teachers, and many practicing chartered accountant, because that was on Tally ERP, how we can use in GST. So many things, what the topic, in even today's topic, it is very going to useful for everyone. So since, sir, in this pandemic, we are trying to reach out to people at large, and we could succeed also now with the grace of God and support of these associate partners, Jai Hind, Wilson, Patkar, so many colleges we have associated, DTSS, more than 10 to 15 colleges we have associated, and they all had given a very eminent speaker across India and across globe, which we are taking to the student. Sir, in our, I would like to mention in our Telegram group, we have more than 6,000 teachers participants. We have more than 4,500 student participants. And they are from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. They're from Gujarat to, Northeast. They are learning, and sir, sometimes they, because we are directly connected, they are giving us feedback. Sir, in morning time we do not have electricity. We get it charged from different villages, and then one because apart from this, we are keeping session also related to their syllabus on taxation, on cost accounting, on financial accounting, on auditing, and they are learning, sir, in one mobile 10 to 15 student in rural area. Thank you for this kind of support and those blessings by all the participants across India and across globe. And this would not have been possible without support like you guys. So we are really obliged and we are really thankful to every speaker, every associate partner who made this platform as a grand success. On behalf of IA Thane Branch Chairman, Dr. Arvind Luhar, sir, who is also Chairman Board of Studies Accountancy, and my fellow colleague, Dr. Kuldeep Sharma, who is the Treasurer of Indian Accounting Association Thane Branch, and all life member of Thane Branch, and all my participants. We are really thankful for giving this platform, and we are really thankful to CA Institute, ICAI, who are so supportive, so generous for the student and education at PA. Thank you very, very much for giving me this opportunity, and we expect this relation should continue for longer period. Thank you, everyone. Thank you once
Thank you.
again.
Thank you, Dr. Nichikant Jha, sir. In fact, of course, we are missing Loar sir and Kuldeep sir, but anyway, you made it. So thank you very much. Now, with that, of course, we will like everybody is in fact waiting for Nihar sir to be heard of. But before he actually starts, I will introduce him in a very short because his introduction is too big and I cannot actually, it's nobody's actually ability to introduce you. But, and most of the chartered, in fact, all the chartered accountants and CA students know him. But फिर भी here we have got entire University of Mumbai teachers and students and also beyond. So for at least benefit of them, I'll introduce him in a very short time. So CA Nihar Jambusaria, sir, is the Vice President of the prestigious Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, that is ICAI. He is the man of ethics, vision, wisdom, passion, dedication, and very strong organizational skills. Qualified as a chartered accountant way back in 1984. That's more than 35 years ago. Had been the chairman of Western India Regional Council, that is WIRC, of ICAI. Nihar sir, I distinctly remember your tenure of chairmanship. It was a time when all the practicing chartered accountants could have been out of teaching because of a technical restraint in Chartered Accountants Act. But you took a firm initiative and represented a case so strongly that the technical restraint in CA Act was eliminated and eliminated forever. If this was not done, the students would have been deprived of the professional expertise of the practicing chartered accountants. So, sir, the genuine academician in you, turn this virtual impossibility into a reality. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much on behalf of students, parents, and of course, the Chartered Accountants fraternity.
Yes.
CA Nihar sir is a Central Council member since 2013. He has represented ICAI in many important committees constituted by central government, regulators, statutory authorities, and many more. And these committees are in addition to the various committees of WIRC and the Central Council itself. In fact, he is relied upon as an integral part of the think tank of ICAI for all the crucial matters. He is a prolific speaker, lucid orator at various national and international fora. Has addressed as many as 900 plus national and international conferences, seminars, covering various subjects of professional, academic, social, and environmental interests. My personal feeling, which is also the feeling of the entire CA fraternity, Nihar sir is a true leader, thorough gentleman, kind-hearted person with utmost courtesy and humility. Nihar sir, in fact, you are our Nihar bhai, but on this public platform, normally we use CA Nihar sir and all, but you are close to our hearts of all the CA fraternity. So welcome to you. I'll not be able to describe as I told you, so I have to stop here for the want of time. But I must thank you for accepting our invitation to be the keynote speaker and gracing it today. And of course, extra thanks go to you for requesting CA Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Singhal sir to also accept our invitation. I also thank my batchmate CA Mangesh Kinare, the former chairman of WRC and the Central Council member of ICI for coordinating with Nihar sir. So with this short introduction, may I request CA Nihar sir to kindly deliver the keynote address. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Santosh Gag. Good morning, everybody. Principal Wadia, Dr. Nisikant Shah, Professor Santosh Gag, Professor Wilson Rao, and today's faculty and my very dear friend and colleague in the council, Dr. C.S. Sanjeev Singhal. Friends, it gives me great pleasure today that I am back with the teaching and teaching community and the students. I taught in a university affiliated college for 25 years. Probably even Sanjeev ji may not be aware of it. But I was a lecturer in DTSS college, which is affiliated to Mumbai University for 25 years, from 1985 to 2010, when I took VRS. And one small reference which Santosh ji was giving just now, that in 2004, when I was chairman of the Western India Regional Council, the council was coming out with an amendment in the regulation that any chartered accountant who is in employment will not have a test function, will not be able to carry out audits. So at that point of time, I took up with the then council members and the then president, CA Sunil Goyal from Jaipur, you will remember. And I requested them that, see, teaching is a very different kind of activity. And a lecturer is required to lecture for about 3 hours every day. Teaching time is not so much, and you should give some exception. So the council made amendment in the regulation and said that any lecturer who is not required to spend more than 25 hours in a week on teaching will be continued to possess that attest function, and he will be regarded as full-time in practice. So that is what Santosh ji was referring to, and that is the small effort that we all collectively made at that time, and that is how chartered accountants are still in teaching line. And I still believe that so far as accountancy is concerned, because of their practical exposure, chartered accountants can pass on more insight to students and make them fundamentally stronger. So with this background, let me come to this pandemic, because today's subject is in connection with, or what impact financial statements will have from COVID-19 is the subject. So let me first just mention, so far as teaching learning is concerned, you were mentioning just now, Nisikant ji, that students and teachers from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from all parts of the country are attending. I think territorial boundaries are disappearing. Probably God has some message for all of us, that you are running about so much, doing everything physically, then for what I have given you all these technologies. So remove territorial barrier, give benefit of excellent faculties to everybody in every part of the country. And why country? In every part of the world. Even CA Institute's webinars which are being conducted, they are being attended by chartered accountants and even CPAs in other parts of the world. So these boundaries are disappearing. I have learned and I have known that some of the schools and colleges have already started virtual teaching in regular course. And this may, going forward, probably become the new normal. Now, coming to financial statements, I am told that still at university level, the Indian gap continues to take a major part of the syllabus. Ind AS is being introduced in the syllabus, but it is not taken in detail. So in financial statements, what will be the impact of COVID-19, whether it is Indian GAAP or it is Ind AS? Today we have got expert faculty, and let me mention this, that Sanjeev ji is an excellent addition to the council insofar as accounting standards are concerned. Last year I was heading Ind AS implementation committee, and whenever I found any complicated issue, he was a call away. I used to call him and ask him that this is the issue, what to do. And he would provide immediate solution because he has got years of experience of working on the ground on Ind AS and auditing. So that is the experience that he brings. Now coming to subject, financial statements, how they would be impacted. I think it goes without saying, nobody has to think much. March 20 is a year in which only some 10 days were covered, so there may not be very big impact. But
Okay.
2021 is the year in
Correct.
which we will see major impact.
Correct.
Issues like inventory valuation, impairment of assets, going concern, whether a company is still a going concern, and expected credit losses, which particularly NBFCs and banking companies will provide. Although banks are still not under Ind AS, this is going to create a major impact on the financial statements. On the economy, it has already created impact. Day in and day out, along with accounting, at Institute, we are discussing at various webinars how to bring back economy to track and how fast we can be on track to achieve $5 trillion economy. So today's subject, which is so much connected with COVID-19, so far there were strict rules when accounting standards and Ind AS were formulated. Nobody envisaged a situation like COVID-19. So when Institute was called upon to give guidelines as to how to account for certain impacts of COVID-19, how to make disclosure, how to protect companies from being reported as not going concern if they are only impacted by COVID-19 scenario and there is no other impact. These are the questions which are being coined and asked. And accounting profession is still grappling with all these issues. Even at International Federation of Accountants, these issues are flagged. And today, all countries of the world are putting their heads together and trying to find solution as to how to deal with this scenario. Particularly, all these situations will be very relevant when one starts reporting even for the first quarter of 2021. June will end, first quarter will end, and listed companies will be required to give limited review report. So this exercise and these issues are relevant right from now, and we will have to address. I will not take any longer time. I was supposed to just introduce what is the subject today, but there is an expert who will speak on the subject, and I'm sure that we'll all have excellent time with CA Dr. Sanjeev Singhal when he speaks and he guides us. So I would again thank Jai Hind College and Thane branch of Indian Accounting Association for giving us this opportunity. For me, it is always pleasure whenever there is an invitation from teaching learning institution. A lecturer cannot resist himself from accepting it. Let me tell you, जो एक बार पढ़ाता है उसको पढ़ाने का नशा चढ़ जाता है. जब भी अपने कलीग से इनविटेशन आता है तो वो कोई by default it is yes, it is never no. So it's an opportunity for me. Thanks for connecting me back with teaching community and students today. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you, Nihar, sir. Sir, for your information, on Monday, we, Jai Hind College, are holding and organizing a webinar where all the students of entire university and beyond also will be connected back to Jain College and Institute of Chartered of India, where the entire WRC, including the chairman Bajaj sir, then Dalit Ladibhai Kabra and CS Ardul Shah, will be guiding our students along with CS Institute and law people for the career opportunities and the counseling and orientation. So thank you very much. And sir, you as expected, rather even beyond my expectation, you have said that COVID-19 will have impact on financial statement and economy also. But so far as the financial statements are concerned, we'll be closing them on 31st of March. So there will be hardly any impact in that 1920. But 2021, including the first quarter, the impact will start having. And many things that you have spoken about. Thank you very much. In fact, we have got the insight into it. Now, with that, of course, we will request CA Dr. Sanjeev Singhal sir to kindly enlighten further on this. But before that, I will request my colleague, Professor Wilson Rao, to kindly introduce CA Sanjeev Kumar Singhal sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Santosh sir, and welcome all the participants. And good morning to all of the dignitaries over here present. The impacts of the current COVID-19 pandemic are presenting challenges for many entities throughout the nation. All entities should be thinking through these challenges as they work on issuing interim or year-end financial statements. So on this very, very important topic, we have a very distinguished and experienced speaker, that is CA Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Singhal. Now, he is a well-known figure in Indian Accounting Standards and Companies Act, and his profile is so long that it would take us maximum amount of our seminar to go off, basically. So I'll give you a glimpse of his profile. Currently, Sanjeev sir is a partner in SR Bartley Boyd and Company LLP Chartered Accountant. He is the president of Indian Accounting Association of Delhi NCR chapter. He has more than 20 years of experience, and good to know that he has penned more than 12 books published by the best of the publishers. Now, Sanjeev sir, being the topper in Delhi University, he has received several awards academically and professionally. And he has also contributed maximum to the profession, what he is into, and the society at large. To talk about some of his professional experience, as I told, he has worked as a partner in BL Agarwal, vice president of Jubilant Life Science. So he has got very, very varied experience on this topic, and more than 100 merit certificates he's having. As I told you, that many books he has published. In professionally, he has been he's addressing 450 seminars on accounting standards, so he's not new to talking on these topics. He has been co-opted member, special invitee of Accounting Standards Board of ICAI, and acted as the resource person of developing Indian accounting standards. He has contributed as member of II, National Financial Reporting Committee, and chairman CII's group on accounting and auditing standards on matters concerning industry. For the society, he has been a member of Ekal Vidyalay. He is associated with that. He is also having, several scholarships at SBM. He has instituted several scholarships at SBM School, Delhi. So on and so forth. There's so much to talk about our today's speaker. So on this very crucial topic and very enlightening topic, we look forward to Sanjeev sir's comments and the talk and his presentation. So Sanjeev sir, we invite you to start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wilson. A very good morning to you all. At the outset, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Principal Dr. Ashok Wadia, CA Santosh Garg, Dr. Nishikant Jha from Indian Accounting Association, Dr. Wilson Rao, and above all, my Vice President, and I still call him nearby, whether it is offline or it is online. I remember Santosh said that for us he is nearby, but now we are calling him Neharji. For us, he is still nearby, but it's a revelation to me that 25 years he has spent in the teaching profession. I don't think many people in the council knows it. Of course, I was also not aware of. And for me, I've been a teacher for 4 years at the Ford School of Management and for 1 year at the IP University. So for me also, teaching is the passion, but it is 1/5 of what Niyar Bhai has done. He has spent 25 years in teaching. I spent 5 years into teaching. So really, it is a pleasure to be here. And it was very rightly said for Nihar Bhai that he's a man with vision, and the kind of guidance we received from him at the Central Council as the Vice President, and last year when he was a council member, and next year, of course, will be his year. We'll all be working under his leadership. He'll be the president, the supreme leader of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. That's the
All the
protocol
best, sir.
of ICI. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And I'm really thankful to know that it is he who was instrumental in ensuring that so many hours of teaching can be done and still you can hold the certificate of practice. I know this regulation was made, but I was not knowing that Nihar Bhai is the man behind this. So this is really great. So with this, I now come to the topic on COVID-19 impact on accounting and auditing. And I can tell you that ICI has come out with as many as 6 guidance on the various accounting and the auditing issues relating to COVID-19. Initially, we were thinking that what is the impact COVID will have on accounting and auditing? Because that time, the severity of this issue was not known. But as soon as, and I will say as early as in the March end itself, Institute started coming out with these announcement, these pieces of guidance. And as we see today, there is so much which has changed because of COVID. It is our personal life which has changed. All of us are under lockdown situation from last 3 months. And the experts say that this situation could go on for another 3 months or so. The kind of spread which is there in particularly in Delhi and Mumbai, uh, although we know that today at 12 o'clock, medicine is going to be launched for this by Glenmark, which is really a very welcome step. Recently, dexamethasone has also been approved in UK, but still, the impact of COVID, since the topic is financial statements and economy, the impact of COVID on economy and financial statement is huge. And like in the institute this year, we have also formed a sustainability reporting standard board. I'm the chairman of that board. And recently we have done a national and a global webinar. And the impact of COVID on environment has been amazing. Uh, the earth is taking a break. Everything is coming back to normalcy. But this is happening when human beings are not on the roads. So it means it is the human being who have developed who have done the development work, but at the same time, it is human beings who are also responsible for the destruction. According to an estimate, by August 15 every year, we consume the full year resources of the earth, which means that for rest of the 4.5 months, we borrow the resources from future years and future generations, which is not right. So we must understand what COVID-19 is trying to teach us. And of course, for the teaching and learning, it's been a huge booster because the e-learning has brought everyone together on one platform. Today, all of us were able to connect on one platform without there being a need to travel for any of us. So this is bringing people from across the globe on one platform, which is a huge change, and it's a welcome change. With this, let me talk about some of the specific issues on accounting, auditing, and economy. So we'll discuss the key topic in news. What are the emerging areas of concern and the impacted sectors, and what is the impact of COVID-19 on financial reporting and auditing, on internal controls, and how can one do a remote close, that is accounting closure, and what are the leading practices into it. I'll keep this discussion to partially technical and partially non-technical. Faculty is there, so that's why we can have a technical discussion. And since students are there, that's why I'll try to keep it simple as far as the technical topics are concerned. And I would request the organizers to put up the next slide. Yeah, so various regulators are giving various types of relief. Everyone has come together. The Security Exchange Board has given more time for the quarterly 4 filings and the annual filings. The deadline has been extended from 15th May to 30th June for the quarterly filings and from 30th May to 30th June for the annual filings. Caro, initially Caro was having, last year Caro was having 21 clauses, 29 more clauses were sought to be added for the financial year 1920. However, the ministry was kind enough to give a deferral to the new clauses of Caro for 1 year in view of the COVID, because the ministry also felt that it will be difficult to have these additional clauses of Caro implemented in this kind of scenario. Various reliefs have been given. RBI has given moratorium on the payment of the installments. The MCA has given various reliefs in terms of the filings, and they have also given additional 6 months to the newly incorporated companies for filing declaration for commencement of business. And at the same time, it's been allowed the board meetings, the audit committee meetings, and the annual general meeting can also be held on the video mode. So all regulators have come together. Interestingly, the accounting and auditing regulators across the world. Recently, ICI has done a global webinar in which people from across the world, accounting regulators from across the world were present, but none of them is giving any relief as far as accounting and auditing is concerned. Rather, the auditor it's being advised that the auditor should be more stringent because the companies may try to misuse this kind of a situation. So that's the environment in which the accountants and auditors are living today. So there is absolutely no relaxation. So the financial statements are utmost important, and it is necessary that
ये जो Zoom वाला भेजा है वो ही है ना वो
they reflect a true and fair view. I would request Dr. Wilson to take us to the next slide.
हाँ मैं वो ज्वाइन कर रहा हूँ अभी थोड़ी देर करके फिर निकल जाऊँगा.
Can we? Yeah. So there are various emerging areas of concern. The health and safety is of prime importance. In fact, this was of prime importance till 31st May. From June 1, we are in Unlock 1 situation. And in Unlock 1, we have seen that various economic activities have started, but at the same time,
I have around 20 suggestions. तो मैं इसलिए आपको अगर आप मतलब कोई भी हमारे यहाँ से तो
is it possible
जैसा आपको अच्छा लगे. जो दूसरी बात है वो ये कि हम लोग जो है वो मैंने अभी जब आप सब लोग डिस्कस कर रहे थे मैंने पाकिस्तान का, श्रीलंका का, आईफैक का, सीए कनाडा, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, मैंने सारी वेबसाइटों पर मैं गया और मैंने
request to put
या रीजनल काउंसिल की अलग वेबसाइट है क्या. ऐसा नहीं है कि वहाँ पर उनके पास वहाँ पर उनके पास लोकल लीडरशिप है, स्टेट वाइज लीडरशिप है, कंट्री वाइज लीडरशिप है, लेकिन आपको जान के हैरानी होगी सर कि किसी की भी अलग से ऐसा नहीं है कि पाकिस्तान में कराची की अलग वेबसाइट है, इस्लामाबाद की अलग वेबसाइट है और लाहौर की अलग वेबसाइट है. कोई वेबसाइट अलग अलग नहीं है सर. तो आप लोग 1 मिनट के लिए देश
निहार सर कैन यू प्लीज म्यूट योर माइक.
वेबसाइट बनाने के बाद रादर देन ये बनाने की बजाय कि Lucknow.ICI.org आप ICI.org के अंदर ही अपने ब्रांच नेटवर्क बनाएं और ब्रांचेस की जो है वो डिटेल ब्रांच पे क्लिक करें तो ब्रांच का पेज आ जाए. ये जरूरी बात है कि ब्रांच को कुछ अपलोड करना है, ब्रांच को अपना लेटेस्ट प्रोग्राम अपलोड करना है, ब्रांच को चेंज करना है, ब्रांच की अपनी कमेटी का सिस्टम है उसमें
निहार भाई कैन यू प्लीज म्यूट योर माइक.
चेंज करना है तो कोई लोग एक्सेस तो अपलोड कैसे करें वो एक इंपॉर्टेंट बात जरूर है.
Dear participants, just wait for 2 minutes for some short disturbance technical glitch.
दोनों एंगल से बात
So
करेंगे.
be around.
We will be stating the crores of brief. Plus there will be a better demonstration of the हमारी जो capabilities हैं या one ICI one website का concept है.
It will be better if you can call him on his mobile.
Yeah. Wilson sir, can you please call Nihar bhai?
चला रहे हैं तो प्रैक्टिकली हम लोग 165 इंस्टीट्यूट चला रहे हैं पैरेलली, जो कि मेरे हिसाब से किसी भी तरीके से जब अपने को ये ग्रुप भी बनाया था तो उसका जो एम था वो बात थी कि सिंगल वेबसाइट ऑफ ICI उसका ये पर्पस बिल्कुल नहीं है कि अपने जो है वो हम एक जैसी 165 वेबसाइटें बना देंगे और सबको 1 मिनट के लिए वो कर देंगे। तो आप लोग एक्चुअली एक है 32 काउंसिल मेंबरों को लगता है कि नहीं जी हमारे अलग अलग वेबसाइटें बनानी है, मैं ओके हूँ। लेकिन अगर आप मेरा पर्सनल व्यू सुनो, इसमें पर्सनल व्यू बोल रहा हूँ, नॉट एज ए प्रेसिडेंट व्यू, पर्सनल व्यू अगर आप
please bear with us for 2 minutes more, maybe 1 minute.
कोई अलग अलग वेबसाइट नहीं है, आप ढूंढ के देखिए कराची एंड पाकिस्तान ICI, आप मतलब आई कैप, आप ढूंढ के देखिए 1 मिनट के लिए लाहौर आई कैप, कहीं नहीं मिलेगा आपको, कुछ नहीं मिलेगा। दूसरे और ऐसा नहीं है कि वो इंस्टीट्यूट बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं है कि वो डेवलप नहीं है। अगर हमारे यहाँ 3.5 लाख मेंबर है तो उनके यहाँ भी 1 लाख मेंबर है सर। ऐसा इतना वो नहीं है कि भाई उनके यहाँ पे तो कोई सिचुएशन ही नहीं है कि वो लोग। अब नेपाल की बात करें तो नेपाल बोलेंगे नेपाल में भी नहीं है जी, लेकिन मैं नेपाल का एप्पल टू एप्पल मैचिंग कर रहा हूँ, ना कि मैं 1 मिनट के लिए ऐसे मैच कर रहा हूँ। जो अगली बात है सर वो ये कि हम लोगों को अगर जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की जो प्रोसेस है उसको स्टेज वाइज लेके जाना पड़ेगा कि हम पहले जैसे आज आप लोग नेशनल वेबसाइट दिखाने वाले हो, फिर उसके बाद हमें ब्रांचेस का अगर बनाना है अलग तो वो अलग बात करें, अगर ब्रांचों को मर्ज करना है तो उनकी नेशनल पॉलिसी के साथ हम उसको मर्ज करें, रीजनल काउंसिल को मर्ज करें, इवन कमेटीज की वेबसाइट को मर्ज करें। जो अगली इंपॉर्टेंट बात है सर इसके अंदर जो है वो वेबसाइट की कॉम्प्रिहेंसिवनेस, कि अपने प्रोफेशन से रिलेटेड कोई भी ऐसी चीज ना हो जो उसके अंदर ऐसी रह गई जो कवर्ड नहीं है, तो हमारे को कॉम्प्रिहेंसिवनेस
इज इट पॉसिबल फॉर द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर टू
हमारे लिए
कीप
बड़ा
इन
इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो इसका एक यूजर टेस्ट हो कि आपको कोई भी ऐसी चीज जो आपको लगता है, पब्लिक टेस्ट हो कि कोई भी ऐसी चीज लगता है कि जो कवर्ड नहीं है, तो आप हमारे को अपने एक फॉर्म के अंदर फीडबैक फॉर्म हो जिसमें वो भर दे और अपने ऑटोमेटिकली हम उसको सूटेबली इनकॉर्पोरेट करें।
यू वांट मी टू गो अहेड और
आपको लगता है कि समथिंग इज मिसिंग,
That will be welcome, I think. It's a big word, big one.
होना चाहिए ताकि लोग जो है वो अपने बता सकें कि
Kanich, can you please take care, Kanich?
ये चीज मुझे अपने आप में नहीं मिल रही है। ईज ऑफ अपडेट्स के बारे में मैंने आपको बता ही दिया। अगली जो इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि हमारा प्रोफेशन किस चीज के लिए है, वापस एडवोकेसी की बात कर रहा हूँ। प्रोफेशन के अंदर 4 इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें हैं। स्किल डेवलपमेंट,
Yeah, I think thank you very much. So very sorry participants, there is a program.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Actually, there is a meeting going on. I was also supposed to participate in that. Nihar bhai was supposed to participate in that.
And I think missed out disconnecting from here.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's fine. That's fine. So my apologies on behalf of him. So there are various emerging areas of concern. Health and safety was prime importance up to 31st May. Now we have given it a go by. We are in an unlocked situation, but we have seen what is the kind of spurt in cases which is happening because of this. There are issues relating to the migrant workers. Demand issue is there. Of course, in April and May, the government has not been able to earn taxes, and at the same time, companies have not been able to earn revenue. Supply chain has been impacted, particularly those companies which were having the just-in-time inventory model. There are impairment issues. Legal contracts are being reviewed. Force majeure and contract termination clauses are being reviewed. There are huge working capital issues. Cash flow management is becoming a challenge. And as they say, cash is king, rest all is journal entry. So cash is taking the front seat. The debt covenants are being breached, and there are a lot of concerns on that. Cybersecurity, while we are working from home, the security monitoring centers have been shut down, raising a huge concern on cybersecurity. And of course, there is an increased emphasis on reporting on the non-financial reporting matter. So suddenly, the focus on the Sustainable Development Goals 2030 has increased significantly, and people are now talking about how to make our planet a better place to live. Can we go to the next slide? There are various areas, various industries which have been severely impacted. Airlines, we have seen that all airlines were grounded. Some of the airlines may undergo liquidation. Although the airlines have started now, at least the domestic airlines, but the traffic is very, very low. And there are huge restrictions, and there's a massive amount of fear among people for traveling. Hospitality, again, hospitality is not a focus. Hotels are being used as the COVID care centers, and no people will be willing to stay at the hotels at this point of time. Entertainment, all entertainment is online now. The movie theaters are simply not running, and there's a huge loss that they are staring at. The ports and airports again have taken a huge hit because the business volumes have gone down. Travel and tourism is almost closed. All the travel and tour agencies are facing the threat whether they'll remain a going concern or not. Financial services business has been impacted because the business activity is impacted, and hence the offtake of the loans has also been impacted. Automobiles industry is again an industry which is adversely impacted because buying a vehicle is not a priority. Maybe people will still buy two-wheelers as of now uh, so that they don't get infected by using a public transport, but people will be shy of spending money on the four-wheelers because of the cash crunch. And oil and gas, we have seen a situation when oil has fallen to zero or negative. Oil companies were willing to pay for those people who has the space to store oil. Of course, now oil is back at around $40 a barrel, but there was a situation when oil has fallen to zero, or rather than in the negative terrain. So this is the overall economic state. Now we'll discuss the impact on specific impact on accounting, and I can tell you that people are talking about various forms of recovery of economy. Some people are saying that economy recovery will be V-shaped, just like we make the alphabet V. There'll be a huge decline, there'll be a steep decline, and there'll be a steep recovery, a sharp recovery. There are people who are saying that economy recovery will be U-shaped. That is, there will be a slow decline and a slow recovery. There are people who are saying that recovery will be L-shaped, that just like L. So it goes down and stays there. So there will not be a recovery. There are people who are saying it will be a seesaw-shaped recovery, just like we have a seesaw that keep going up, keep going down, going up, going down. And these are the people who believe that COVID will come back even in the countries which are back to normal now or almost normal. So my view, it's going to be either U-shaped or seesaw-shaped. According to the health experts, COVID-19 will come back again. In China, it's back again. So this is what we need to see. And how it impacts accounting and auditing is very interesting. Let me take two scenarios. One is going concern, and second is an impairment. There are about 6 to 8 topics that I'll talk about. I'll talk about inventory measurement. I'll talk about impairment of non-financial assets. I'll talk about going concern assessment. I'll talk about financial instruments, revenue, etc. So 5, 6 key topics I'll talk about in the given time which we have. So if I have to talk about the going concern and the impairment first, and the number of slides which I have are much more. The reason is that slides I have kept so that if you want to refer to the slides later on, it looks like a complete presentation. And right now I'll be talking about the key points, and you can put your questions through the administrators on the chat box, and I'll keep taking up the questions. Now, let me touch upon these 5, 6 areas in the next maybe 20 minutes or so. Going concern and impairment. Let me take it together. Now, what is going concern? Going concern means that the enterprise has neither the necessity nor the intention of materially curtailing its operations in the foreseeable future. It means the entity will continue to exist. And in the going concern, in the auditing standard, which is SA 570, we say that we have to test it at least for the next 12 months. That is whether the entity is a going concern for at least next 12 months or not. Now, how do we assess this? We assess this through the cash flows, that what are the projected cash flows of the company. Now, take an example of a power sector, electricity generation company. Electricity generation company was in a must-run status. So there is hardly any adverse impact on the electricity generation company, though there could be an impact in terms of demand, because when there was a complete lockdown, so the demand for electricity has gone down significantly as far as the businesses are concerned, because businesses were closed. The home electricity demand might have increased slightly, but these are the industrial consumers who consume electricity in bulk. So in that case, how do you assess the going concern? If I'm an auditor and I tell you from my auditing experience, we have asked the companies to project their cash flows. And in quarter one, which is April to June, typically all companies have taken a significantly reduced demand. They've taken a 20%, 30%, or a 40% reduction in the electricity demand. But then they have expected a recovery from quarter two, quarter three, and quarter four, and they have taken it to almost normal levels and made their projected financial statements and the projected cash flow statement. Now, in the projected cash flow statement, the revenue will be lower in the first quarter and will come back to normal in the second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. But if I contrast it with an automobile sector, so in quarter one, there is hardly any demand for automobiles. Quarter two, whether we will be able to come back to normalcy, my answer is no. Quarter three, maybe we'll start limping back to the recovery, and quarter four, maybe somewhat recovery will start, but I think it will take at least 2 years or 3 years for the automobile industry to come back to its normal. And then if I had to talk about a tour and travel agency, I don't think that in next 1 year, they will be able to generate a significant amount of revenue. So they will continue to remain a going concern only if they have sufficient cash or they have alternate source of funding. If they do not have these, then there will be a question on going concern. And the company doesn't continue to be a going concern, then the fundamental accounting assumption as given in Accounting Standard 1 or in AS 1, that there are 3 fundamental accounting assumptions: going concern, consistency, and accrual, then the going concern assumption will not be valid and the accounts will have to be prepared on the liquidation basis. Now, liquidation basis would mean that the assets will be shown in the financial statement on the realizable value, and the liabilities will be shown on the amount which is expected to be paid to settle the liabilities. Now, for going concern assessment, one should have the clear-cut projections, and if you are acting as an auditor, then whatever the projection the management is giving, you should also apply your sensitivity analysis, and just don't be theoretical. Also look at what the industry experts are saying. Look at the report of the CII, FICCI, of the credit rating agencies, of the big 4 firms like Ernst & Young, that what they are saying, what is their projection, what is that they are thinking, that what will happen industry-wise. So that is necessary to be looked into, and it should be seen that professional skepticism or judgment is also applied. Apply common sense. If a company says, no, we'll continue to do well, apply common sense, whether it is expected to happen in the next 6 months or 12 months or no. Similar is the impairment. Now, in impairment, what do? In impairment, we compare the carrying amount with the recoverable amount. Carrying amount of an asset or a group of asset, which is called a cash generating unit, with the recoverable amount. Now, suppose the carrying amount of a group of asset is 100 crores. We have to compare it with the recoverable amount. Now, recoverable amount is the recoverable amount is the higher of the value in use and the net selling price. Say, for example, if I treat carrying amount as A and recoverable amount as B, recoverable amount will be the higher of C and D, where C is value in use and D is the net selling price. Suppose value in use is 120, recoverable amount is 80, the higher of the two is 120. Since the carrying value was 100, recoverable amount is 120, so there is no impairment. But if the value in use goes down to 70 and the recoverable amount goes down to 60, then we'll take 70 being the higher of 70 and 60 as the recoverable amount, and this will be compared with the carrying amount. So 30 is the impairment loss. Now, where all impairment loss can happen, and how do we compute this value in use? For the purpose of computing value in use, what we do is we make the projected cash flows at least for 5 years. Now, for 5 years, increasing growth rate can be taken in a normal case scenario, and then a steady or a declining growth rate is to be taken. But here the situation is different. In the next 1 year, hardly any growth is expected. Maybe in the pharma sector, there could be a growth. Maybe in the sanitizer or mask, there could be a growth. In the PPE kits, there could be a growth. In the ventilators, there could be a growth. In the hospitals, there could be a growth. But in automobiles, tour and travel, and various other sectors which we talked in the beginning, growth is not expected. So in the first year, be conservative. Second year also, don't be very aggressive, and arrive at those value in use. Value in use is the present value of the future expected cash flows from the continuing use of the asset and ultimate disposal of the asset. मतलब कि जब तक वो एसेट कंटिन्यू करेंगे हम उसके कैश फ्लोज की हम प्रेजेंट वैल्यू लें, और जब उसको सेल करेंगे तो उससे क्या प्राइस रियलाइज होगा उसकी भी प्रेजेंट वैल्यू हम लेके चलें. दैट इज हाउ विल बी एबल टू कंप्यूट द वैल्यू इन यूज. सो द कैरिंग अमाउंट विल बी कंपेयर्ड विद द रिकवरेबल अमाउंट and accordingly impairment will be computed. Now, as an auditor, what we are doing? So normally we will take only a normal case scenario or a base case scenario. But now we are applying sensitivity analysis in a big way. And what we are doing is we are taking various scenarios, mostly on the conservative side, some scenarios on the normal side, and maybe one or two scenarios on the aggressive side, optimistic side. And then assign various weights. Suppose you're taken 3 scenarios, you can give them equal weights, or you can give higher weight to the conservative scenario, an average weight to a normal scenario, and a much lower weight to the optimistic scenario, and find out the expected value, and then arrive at this value in use as the expected value. Then find out the recoverable amount and compare it with the carrying value. And this is how impairment can be assessed, whether there is any impairment of a non-financial asset or not. A non-financial asset would be just like, say, for example, property, plant and equipment, or investment property, etc. Now, after these 2 issues, let us now talk about a third issue, which is inventory measurement. Now, inventory measurement is another very, very important area which is being impacted by COVID-19. Now, what is the impact? Let me tell you, the impact is multiple fold. First of all, the physical verification of inventories. In a normal auditing process, physical verification of inventory is required to be observed by the auditor. So the management does the stock taking and the auditor observes the stock taking. Now in this scenario, neither the management was able to do the stock taking nor the auditor was able to observe the stock taking. So what to do? Then our institute has given alternative mechanism. And these alternative mechanisms, say for example, are roll backward and roll forward. Now, what is roll backward and what is roll forward? Say for example, if the stock taking was done on 15th March, there are many listed companies which do the stock taking before 31st March itself and then apply a roll forward procedures. So on 15th March, if the stock taking was done and we have to go to a forward period, which is March 31, then what we do is we add the purchases from 15th March to 31st March and reduce the cost of goods sold between 15th March to 31st March to arrive at the value of stock on 31st March. Similarly, if the stock taking is done after the balance sheet date, say for example, it is done on 30th of June, then I will reduce these purchases from 1st April to 30th June and I'll add back the cost of goods sold from 1st April to 30th of June, and this will give me the value of inventory on 31st March. So this is roll backward and roll forward. Now, it is possible that the management was operating in an essential sector, say for example, pharma sector, and the company was open. But since the auditors were not allowed to open the offices, they have not been able to observe the inventory verification. So in such a case, what an auditor should do? Then auditor should look for alternative mechanism. Auditor should look at the stores ledgers. Auditor should also look at the possibility of conducting a verification again for the important items and observe it and then work backwards. Or if nothing happens, he is not able to gain appropriate audit evidence which is sufficient in his view, as we say, which is not the sufficient appropriate audit evidence, then he will need to qualify his audit report if the inventory amount is material. Another important aspect relating to inventories. We value the inventory based on the lower of cost or the net realizable value. Now, cost is arrived at using the formulas like FIFO, weighted average, standard cost, retail price method, etc. LIFO is not allowed, as all we know. We have to compare it with the net realizable value. Now, net realizable value would have significantly gone down for certain sectors. See, for example, the BS4 vehicles in Delhi, which were to be sold by 31st March, these could not be sold. And Supreme Court allowed that these could be sold within 10 days of opening the lockdown, and that too only 10% of the inventory can be sold. So there is a huge loss in the BS4 vehicles, and there is a need to recognize this decline in the net realizable value on 31st March, and the future selling price becomes the basis for arriving at this net realizable value. Now, similarly, it is possible that the enterprise was dealing in perishable goods or the semi-perishable goods, and these could not be sold on 31st March due to lockdown. So there could be a complete loss or there could be a partial loss, which needs to be recognized by the company, and then it will need to write down the inventory, and which that loss will be taken to profit and loss account. There are various opinions about this. The various questions whether this loss should be treated as an exceptional item, as an extraordinary item, or a normal item. Well, our advisory is very clear that if it is arising out of COVID-19, this can be taken as an exceptional item. However, if someone is paying the wages during the lockdown, then wages were payable otherwise also. Yes, there would have been a production if the business was continuing. But these kind of expenses, which are not the incremental expenses, cannot be taken as exceptional item, and they should be shown as the normal items, just like in the routine we do. One more point relating to inventories is with respect to the absorption of the factory overheads. Since all of you are from the college and university, costing is one of the subjects which is being taught in the university. We know that there is an under and over absorption of overheads, and overheads are absorbed basis the normal capacity of production. Now, it is possible that in this year, that is the year ending 31st March 2020, because of the loss of production for 10 days, the actual production is lower than the normal production. So in such a situation, the overhead absorption rate should not be increased, and the unabsorbed overheads should not be added to the inventory, and they should be charged to the profit and loss account. Similarly, in this year, if the production is expected to be lower, again, because normal capacity is computed over a period of 3 to 5 years. So in this case also, the company should not increase the overhead absorption rate, and the overheads which cannot be absorbed should be charged to the profit and loss account. This is about inventory. Now, let me also talk about the receivables. As far as the receivables are concerned, there is an issue of the balance confirmation. Dr. Wilson, we can be on the topic slide only, and from the topic slide itself, I'll be able to explain all the points. Yes, thank you. Now, on the now, what happens for the receivables like the debtors, which we call? For debtors, we go for a balance confirmation. And balance confirmation, normally the letters are posted under the supervision of the auditors. Now, posting was not possible. So we have to resort to the alternate audit procedure. And these alternate audit procedure could be that you can send the balance confirmation through the digital mode. Now, that is through email you can send it. But you should send it through secured mails. One should not use the open source mails like Gmail or Yahoo Mail or Rediff Mail. One should be sending the mails through a business domain ID. And these days, these are available at a pretty cheap price, 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees is the annual expense. Even Google is giving access to its Google Meet, and along with 1,000 GB of data for 10 people for just 625 rupees a month. It's also giving a domain ID. So it should go from your business domain ID, and to the extent possible, the confirmation should also be received from the business ID of that debtor. If it's a bank, particularly, it should come from the bank bank domain ID. If it is any other customer, then preferably if they have a domain ID, it is better. But if they don't have, then it's fine. Then you can also look at the subsequent clearances. That is, say for example, if receivables were due on 31st of March, and now you are doing the audit in June, maybe in 2.5 months, some money has been received. So that is an assurance that the debtors are good. So this is about the debtors. Now, extending this argument on the debtors, let us talk about the expected credit losses. What happens is that when the going is tough, when the businesses are taking a hit, when the economy is down, the recoverability of the receivables is impacted, because the financial position of your customers would have gone down, and it may be difficult for them to repay your money now. So the chances of bankruptcy will increase, and the chances of bankruptcy will increase, then the management should do a careful evaluation of the recoverability from the debtors, and if required, should increase the provision for the doubtful losses. If the money finally comes in, this provision can always be reversed, but otherwise it will be advisable that the provisions are reviewed very stringently. Same thing happens in the fair value measurement. Take an example. A property was worth 100 crore rupees and it was being shown on a revaluation model. Now what will happen? Because the purchasing power of people have gone down, the fair value of the real estate will also go down. Maybe it comes down to 80 crores. So then this 20 crore rupees of loss will have to be recognized by the company. Similarly, the fair valuation of businesses will also likely to be go down. And in case you have investment, or the companies have investments in businesses, and these were shown at fair value, these will also need to be relooked. Another example, if a company holds, say for example, 100 shares of TCS, and the purchase price was 2,000 rupees a share, so the value of purchases was 2 lakh rupees. It's possible that on 31st March, this has gone down to only 800 rupees. So the value comes down to 80,000 rupees. This loss will need to be recognized in the financial statement. It is possible that on the date of signing of the financial statement, the value has come back to 2,000 rupees. However, this will be treated as a non-adjusting event, because this was not pertaining to the conditions existing on the balance sheet date, and the shares will have to be stated at 800 rupees, and this loss of 1,200 rupees per share will have to be recognized in the profit and loss account. Another area which is being impacted is revenue. Revenue, as we know, if the demand has gone down, obviously revenue has gone down. But one more thing which has happened is that revenue is recognized when the risk and rewards relating to the ownership of the goods have been transferred to the buyer. Now, there was Janta curfew on 22nd March, and there was a lockdown from 25th March. If the goods were dispatched, say on 24th of March, these would not have reached the customer by 31st March. And if the terms of sale are, say, CIF or the door delivery, then if the goods are not delivered to the customer, this sale should be reversed in the books, and accordingly, the inventory should be increased by the cost of goods sold. And similarly, if these were perishable goods or these were near expiry, then a suitable provision, as we discussed in the case of inventory, should also be made. Now, another point relates to the consolidated financial statement. What happens is that when there are various subsidiaries or joint ventures or associate whose financial statements are to be consolidated, it may be possible that some of the components were in Italy or New York at that time, which was significantly adversely impacted, and maybe preparation of financial statement was not possible in those jurisdictions. If that was the case, then you have to see whether this should be shown as a scope limitation if these accounts have not been consolidated. Dr. Wilson, can we go to the next slide? Okay, we can go back to the previous slide. We can go back to that topic slide. Yeah. So now, so when you are preparing the financial statements, then it needs to be kept in mind that a kind of preparer's lens should also be there. And if you are the auditor, then obviously you have to be extra cautious, because when these accounts come up for investigation by the regulators, may not understand the circumstances which are today of 2 years down the line. So auditors should be very careful. And recently, Security Exchange Board of India has also issued its guidelines on the various kind of disclosures which the management should make. But there's a really tough time for business. These are tough time for professionals, tough time for the faculty members as well as the students. We know that the classes are being held on the online mode, and there is some adverse impact which is there when the personal touch is missing. Exams, there are various issues relating to the exams also. So same is with the financial statement. And you must invest your money very, very carefully, because what will happen to the economy, nobody knows. We must fiercely preserve our cash and our capital, and we must read the financial statements very carefully. I think the program is till 12:30, and I was requested to keep 15 minutes for questions. I have covered the broad areas. I'll be happy to take up any other area which is required, or as many questions as there are. And for questions, even if we need to extend it by 5-10 minutes, I am fine. But largely the key issues relating to going concern, impairment, inventory, and then the provision for doubtful debts, then leases, revenues, consolidated financial statement, and I can just touch upon one item on borrowing cost. On borrowing cost, if the projects are underway, then interest is capitalized in the normal circumstances. But if the active development is interrupted, say for example, for these 3 months, no active development has happened, then this period interest, one will not be able to capitalize. That we should keep in mind. So these are the various 7, 8, 10 issues which are arising due to COVID-19, whether you are on AS or you are on IND-AS. I'll be happy to go back to the organizers to guide whether we should now take up the questions, or is there any other topic that I should talk about.
Thank you very much, CA Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Singhal, sir. Actually, very frankly, you make us travel from FI BCom to CA final, and in fact, much beyond that. Because IND-AS, IFRS, and there are few, the treatment of so many intricate things. It's so difficult for people to digest, but you have made it so lucid that even a student, forget about the professionals, even the student must have understood what you already, in less than 1 hour's time, what you have covered. So, salute to sir. Now I realize why Nihar person like Nihar sir says you're the authority. Whenever he needs some expert guidance, he looks back to you. So it's phenomenal, and I hats off to you, sir. But of course, some
Thank
questions
so much,
students will be having.
Yeah, I would. I'll be willing to take up all questions, whatever.
Yeah,
and if there is any other area, absolutely, there is no problem. My next meeting starts at 1 o'clock, so we have time.
Great.
If we want to conclude at 12:30, 12:40, 12:45, I am fine.
Thank you very much, sir. Wilson, sir, can you please go over the questions? There will be lots of questions, I am very sure. Although you explained it so well, there are so many areas that, in fact, people will be looking for the guidance from your side.
Yeah.
So there's persons asking, like, please, some focus on shareholders' rights.
Shareholders' rights remain the same. But let me tell you, shareholders have the last right. So when all have been paid, when first the secured creditors will be paid, then the employees will be paid, and then there are unsecured creditors who will be paid. Then there are debenture holders who will be paid. Of course, if debenture holders are secured, they'll be paid first. Then the preference shareholders will be paid, and finally the shareholders will be paid. The equity holders, because equity is the residual interest that comes at the end, so they will be paid at the end if money is left.
Yes, sir.
So it is same like liquidation, with method
Yeah,
type of priority that we have in liquidation case.
Yes, so there's one question on, in today's scenario, which market would grow most, basically?
So, are you talking about economy or market? Let me answer from both the perspective, because you may not.
Market, it is written.
Okay. So market, see, are you talking about stock market, gold, etc.?
So
From
this was
investment
just
point
a
of view?
question. Yeah, this
Okay,
is
that's
just a
fine.
question.
Fine. So if you're to say market, because market also refers to the economic market, then certainly, there will be a shift from China. And in view of this war tension also between India and China, China may take some hit, although India's trade is only 2.14% for China. So it may not make much of an impact. But the Indian market is certainly expected to grow. Some of the companies are expected to shift to India. There'll be more focus on Make in India. Even if no foreign companies comes to India, if we start producing in India, if we can really make Atmanirbhar Bharat, as our Honorable Prime Minister says, then also the Indian economy will go up. And I'm aware of the multiplier principle that I studied in my BCom in my Shriram College of Commerce. Multiplier effect means, suppose the marginal propensity to consume is 80%, then 1 rupee given to the economy will generate 5 rupees in the economy, because marginal propensity to save will be 20% or 0.2. So 1 upon 0.2. So 5 times will be the velocity of money. So if government injects 1 lakh crore in the economy, and if this money is spent in India, 5 lakh crore will come into India. Government is going to spend this 20 lakh crore. I don't agree, because that's basically in the form of loans. So that is not a cash injection in the economy. Though I strongly believe if 20 lakh crore would have been the cash injection in the economy, this would have generated 100 lakh crores. So Indian market will grow. And now if we have to talk about from an investment point of view, well, I done my PhD in banking and stock market, so I don't invest in stock markets. Indian stock markets.
Sorry, on that.
Yeah, Indian stock markets are they depict the weak form of efficiency. Even the New York Stock Exchange is only a semi-strong form of efficiency. So they do not go on fundamentals. They go on the sentiments. So the war worries between India and China will throw stock market out of the gears. And gold is becoming an asset, because gold, people feel, because gold is accepted all over the world. That's the reason that although India's gold import has gone down by 99.99% in April, however, gold price is going up to 47,000, and people are saying it may go up to 53% also. 53,000 also. I don't know whether that will happen or not. But I feel that for the time being, next 6 months or next 1 year is for the safe assets, just like being safe for ourselves also. This 1 year is to ensure that we live. This 1 year is to ensure that our investments live, rather than this is not the year to take risk. So which market will go up? I'll say that invest in safe markets. So this may be contrary to what people are saying. When the stock valuations are low, you should invest. As a person, I will not invest. I'll prefer to put my money maybe in National Savings Certificate, or maybe in PPF, or bank fixed deposits, or maybe some other secured avenues, rather than into the stock markets.
So what kind of problems will MNCs face while putting together their financial statements, given their global presence?
Yeah. So I tell you that the large companies have already declared their results. They have not faced much of a problem, because they were on electronic mode. Their auditor, like us, like I am partner with SR Watley, which is a member firm of Ernst & Young. So because we were technologically very advanced, so 90% or 95% of the work has been completed on the online mode. So not many problems have been faced. Yes, there are challenges on the inventory verification. There are challenges, some challenges on the going concern, or there could be some challenges on the recoverability of the receivables. But otherwise, not many problems are being faced by large companies and large auditors.
Wilson
Which
sir,
sector
there are
will
no
be?
Okay. Carry on, sir.
Yeah. Which sector will be most affected in this crisis?
So as I already mentioned, adversely impacted are travel and tourism, airlines, ports and airports, automobiles, hospitality, entertainment. Positively impacted will be pharma, healthcare, and health products.
Okay. There's one question on career in accounting during COVID-19.
So if you can cope up with technology, then obviously, accountants will always be in demand. Accountants are hired before a company is formed, and accountants stay even after liquidation. So accountants will be in demand, provided they keep pace with the latest developments in accounting standards and with technology.
Uh, why IFRS is not implemented in India as it is? Why is it
Yeah.
making an amendments?
Yes. So we had before the council this issue of convergence or adoption. India is a sovereign country with its accounting standard board formed in 1978. There were many challenges from Indian industry, and at the same time, some of the IFRS suffers from the phenomena of creative accounting. Some of the IFRS actually promote creative accounting. I give you one example in relation to business combination. If you acquire net assets worth 100 for 110, 10 is debited to goodwill and taken to balance sheet. But if you pay 95, then in the Indian accounting standards, 5 has been taken to capital reserve. But under IFRS, 5 is treated as a bargain purchase and is credited to P&L. Now that leads to innovative accounting. So areas like this, we have made the carve-outs where we felt that these could be misused. And areas like where the industry was facing a challenge, say for example, in the property, plant and equipment, these are either fair valued or the IAS 16 is applied retrospectively. Think of Indian oil, which is more than 100-year-old. They can't apply it retrospectively. And if they are to do a fair valuation, there will be lakhs and crores of fair value gain, which may never be realized. So that's why we gave an option that you can also carry forward the previous gap carrying values, and we made this optional carve-outs. So there are only 8 carve-outs which we have made. So some of the carve-outs were in the interest of industry, and some of the carve-outs have been made to prevent abuse of the standard. And we are very proud of our carve-outs, that we made these carve-outs. We made these carve-outs in the national interest.
So depreciation related problems during lockdown and its impact.
Depreciation will have to be charged because depreciation is not on account of usage alone. It also happens because of obsolescence. It also happens because of passage of time. So only to the extent that the machinery was not used to produce the units, there could be slight decrease in the depreciation rate if the useful life is increasing by that magnitude, but otherwise depreciation will have to be charged.
So what will be the impact on employment after COVID-19?
Yeah, see, first of all, Dr. Wilson, now we don't need a screen. So if you want to come live, you can come live. On the impact of employment, fortunately, unfortunately, there will be an adverse impact on employment because if we are facing recession and the Indian economy is now, we are expecting it will contract. It will contract by 3, 4, or 5%. Then obviously there will be loss of jobs. Absolutely no doubt about it.
Yeah.
This will be only in India or all over, sir?
Pardon?
Sir, sub question. This thing, it will be only in India or all over world?
All over world, in India, impact will be less, and across the world, it will be much, much higher.
Okay.
If we can make companies shift from China to India, if we can consume domestically, if we can make in India, then maybe there is addition to jobs.
Okay. So
But
we can
Sir,
take this crisis as an opportunity.
yeah, I'll just take 10 seconds more. How many of us are willing to shed our, our likings and move to the products in India?
True.
Correct.
There's one faculty asking, as a faculty, which accounting assumptions and concepts should be more focused on during COVID-19?
Going concern.
Going concern. Okay.
So regarding going concern only, I wanted to ask one single question, which is my question also. Sir, I am a director of one cooperative bank also. So as a banker, we are much concerned because I'm a part of one forum where all chartered accountants from the bank, and that forum is headed by CA Suresh Prabhu sir, who was the former union minister, cabinet minister. So we have a concern that, as you said just now, that even with the COVID, all the regulations will be the same. That means even the going concern will also be vitiated, even if the things are bad only because of COVID. But I personally have got some reservation, and in fact, all bankers for that matter, that if that view is taken, then most of the banks and other enterprises also may be taken as not having that going concern. But if that is the case, then who will survive? And lots of problems will be faced by the enterprises. So don't you think that we as a chartered accountants, institute, should we take up this issue for the representation, that at least for this particular year, I don't know how long this will go on. I hope it will be over shortly, but that is not in our hand. So since this abnormality is existing, then should we also consider that and have that view little separate differently, especially because when we value the goodwill or the shares, if there's some abnormality, we undo that and we think about the normal situation and value in goodwill and shares. So if that goes, then this is definitely an abnormal situation which has come after 100 plus years, because the earlier pandemic like this was in 1918-19. So 100 plus years have gone, and now the pandemic has come, and it has severely affected not only India, but number of nations which are affected this year are more than even the World War situation. So having regard to that, should we also reconsider the principles of our going concern? And should we give some relaxation, at least in that, although the chartered accountant should do their business as usual? So your views on that, sir?
So you're right. And we have made a representation to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
But
Thank you,
MCA refused to give any relaxation. And I tell you that accounting bodies and regulators across the world have taken a stand that there will not be any relaxation in the auditing principles. Unfortunate, but that's true.
Yeah. But sir, what then I think that, okay, we as chartered accountant will go the same way. But after the statements are presented, then the view that the regulators take, at least there will be some relaxation from their side or not. What do you expect, sir?
So, as accounting regulators, we have also accepted the ministry position. We had no choice. So, personally, given a choice, I would have given relaxation. But since these were not accepted by ministry, so we just issued guidance on how to apply the various principles, but we could not have done beyond this.
Thank you, sir. Wilson, sir, please.
Yeah, so the rest of all the questions are similar: which area to invest, and SIP is useful or not. All those kind of questions. So if you can generally tell
so
the area.
I'm not the right person for stock market. I don't believe personally in investing in stock market. I've done even daily SIP. I mean, on my own, invested in daily SIP, which is the best averaging. There also I've lost money. And I don't know a person. Who has put the money in stock market, come out with profits, and exited from the stock market. I believe when they make profit, they invest more, and finally they come out when they lose money.
Okay, sir. Thank you for this great QA session too.
I would suggest that if you have spare money and if you have borrowed money, say home loan or other loan, repay those loans.
Okay. So, sir, Suresh Prabhu, sir, once I attended his webinar. So, he was taking that in this particular situation, we should go for bottom-up approach rather than top-down or normal approach. So, do you also agree with that, sir?
The bottom-up approach for what?
For the economy and not for the accounting as such, because not for our profession, but as for the economy, whenever we behave, we invest, disinvest, whatever. We should go for bottom up so that like zero budgeting type of thing. Whatever we have got, we get.
The most zero budgeting will have to do, no doubt.
Correct. Thank you, sir. So, any more questions, Wilson, sir?
No,
thank you very much. Okay. Yeah. That's okay. So I think that means most of the things were covered in your presentation itself, and it was actually even I felt that it was self-explanatory even for the students. So thank you very much.
We will be sharing PowerPoint of sir, because which is exhaustive, which I was going through, and all that. We will share with the participants, all of you, to get more into into it, basically.
So this is a very detailed presentation. I intentionally have not gone through this slide. We would not have been able to complete it.
Yeah.
It would have been difficult to understand. So that's why I explained all the concepts.
Yeah, it would have been too technical otherwise in that case.
Yeah.
So thank you, CA Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Singhal, sir.
My pleasure.
Now, in fact, in you now, I got a new friend given by Nihar Bhai, and a new member of our Jain College family. So thank you very much.
Thank you very
but
much.
I will request Wilson sir to kindly propose vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you, especially to CA Dr. Sanjeev Singhal, sir. For giving the valuable time. I know how much you will be busy with different kind of people approaching him. But I was going through his profile, as he said, there is no shortcut to success. That's what I was going through his profile, and his always anecdotes which he has told. Though in his very limited time, he has put in all the topics in a manner in which everyone can understand. So thank you, sir. For all your thing. And as Santosh sir said, we would see a long time association with you, with our college also, to talk to our students or be part of our syllabus, reviews or any kind of stuff. We'll look forward to you for all those kind of.
And I'll be happy if a syllabus review is to be done, if NDS has to be incorporated, if there's any other help I can provide, I'll provide. There's no problem.
That's great, sir. Thank you, Nihar sir also.
Nihar Bhai is back. Very good.
We will also contribute to the Nihar sir is back. Very
my absolute apology that this remained unmuted, and we have overlapping meetings and I had to shift to another laptop, but
true.
by mistake this remained. Only one information I wanted to share, because there are many lecturers, that ICAI is taking up with UGC for the status of CA course equivalent to post-graduation. And we have put up papers and they are considering it. So we are trying our best now. Rest, we do not know how it will be taken.
Thank you very much.
That is one development I thought I will say.
Nihar Bhai, under your presidentship, I want Delhi University also to acknowledge it for the purpose of doing PhD. Because as of now, only Delhi University is not treating it as the equivalent of post-graduation. That's why I had to do my post-graduation. Because I wanted to do PhD, so I did my post-graduation despite being CA.
Yeah, same thing from my side. In fact, I was teaching MCOM for 10 years and then I did MCOM just for this technicality purpose. So one thing was resolved in his chairmanship of WRC, and now I think in the next year's time when he will be president, this bigger thing will also be resolved and many more things. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nihar sir. Thank you. No problem for that small kind of thing. But then, it was well taken care of later on. And this makes sure that in your busy schedule, you have not avoided us and you were there with us throughout.
Exactly.
So thank you, Nihar sir, for all your support, and also sourcing out Sanjay Singhal sir to be, getting associated with Jai Hind College, as you are,
Absolutely.
with Jai Hind College over there.
Tried to give you the best of faculty. So
Thank you, sir.
And sir, we know that you are using this StreamYard platform for the first time, so those glitches are bound to be there.
True.
So,
True.
but even if that you have been here, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. And sir, just to share, as I said in the beginning, that on 20th we are having one program for the students for their career
22nd,
awareness. 22nd. I'm sorry, 20th is today,
Yeah.
Monday, 11 o'clock. So it is a tie-up again between institute and the Jai Hind College, our college. But it is, it's like earlier we thought of having only for our students. But then our principal Vadia sir said, why it is a very good thing as a treasure of knowledge for students. So why not we share with the other colleges and other universities? So now we are going for entire nation, we can say. So thank you very much. And this is only a single session on Monday. But sir, our principal and we all want the assistance and expertise of our institute for FDPs, for seminars, for webinars, and also for short-term courses and the certificate courses. And even for the lectures, we can share our time, our resources with institute, and institute will reciprocate from your side. So if that happens, the students will have a beneficiary. So I request on behalf of my principal and my college that let it go through. Thank you very much.
So I can immediately offer two things, what you said. Since I'm the Vice Chairman Accounting Standard Board, if any FDP is to be held for the faculty members across India, we'll be happy to provide the faculty from the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. Similarly, we run an online course on Ind AS. So if any of your Chartered Accountant professors want to take up sessions in our Ind AS course on certain topics, we'll be happy to.
Definitely, we will be part of it. Nice.
Thank you. So thank you all participants too. Thank you, Gag sir, who is bringing all the very best of the talents to Jai Hind College and getting associated with all of them, with all the webinars which he is putting up from his mind, basically. So thank you, Gag sir, and thank you, Vadia sir also. Special thanks to Indian Accounting Association, Nishikant Jha sir, Lohar sir, Kuldeep sir for all their support. And also for the kids who are taking care, students who are taking care backstage of the admin, Kanishk, Vignesh, Ajit, all thanks to you two. Thanks to Aradhna and Sivottam for making up the Google platform, for supporting all the participants to register and making certificates. So thank you for all your support, and we will be giving you the feedback link on your email. All the participants, you will get the certificate on the Telegram link when you will be, when the certificates would be made. And be associated. We have a very nice session on for the students, mainly on 22nd. Looking forward for that session too, so that it would be useful for students, those who are aspiring to become a CA or a CS or any law kind of field. So thank you all of you. Thank you from here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the best to everyone. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Niyar bhai. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Niyar sir and Sanjeev sir. Sir, Wilson sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir,